Introduce the co-founder and my partner at Watershed Capital Group, Mr. Michael Welchel. Michael.
Appreciate everybody being here. I'm a couple minutes on today, and first off, I want to tell you a little bit about a couple of deals that we've done over the past 6 months, just to let you know that things are happening out there. Really, this event is what we want to talk about is kind of myth busting. In our work with people, as soon as you start talking about doing some kind of good or impact with investing, there seems to be an automatic assumption that you have to take kind of financial return has to take a second seat. There's an automatic assumed trade-off. And while that is the case in some funds, we found that most of our clients that we work with, that's not the case. That you can have a financial return that's market rate and also have impact across different environmental and social parameters. So that's some of the kind of, I guess, main point of today is actually talking about how people are doing that and then showing some actual examples of that in the second panel. If you look, one other piece is that a lot of people don't realize of the options that are out there across asset classes, and this is just a simple 2x2 looking at public-private equity versus debt. But here are just some examples of very high quality investment vehicles, if you wanted to map it in that way of looking at both private, public, and equity and debt. Okay, so today the agenda, we are going to have our keynote, Steve Viderman, speak, and then we'll have a short break, come back and have our first panel. Will be actually investment advisors, family offices, foundations that have been investing capital in this space and talk about lessons learned, where they've succeeded, what approach they've taken, what have been the obstacles. We'll have a short break and then come back and have, really calling it a case study, but it's 4 funds that really are a sampling across asset classes and different types of impact, where they'll get to talk a little bit about and you get a feel for what their business is about. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Matt Brill, who will give the introduction for the keynote.
Have y'all ever seen more introductions from introducers? When they told me somebody's going to introduce somebody who's going to introduce somebody who's going to introduce you, and I get to introduce the keynote. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'm Matt Brill with Foundation Source. We work with actually just over 1,100 private foundations across the country, helping families and corporations with their philanthropy. I got involved in this with Michael and Sean, and what attracted us to support this, I've been to events that talk about, what Steve will talk about. He doesn't like any adjectives before investing, but socially responsible investing, for lack of a better term, until Steve speaks. I've been to events on those, and it tells you about them a little bit, but what attracted me to this is that we're going to talk about it. Steve's going to tell you kind of his thoughts, macro, micro, and then we're going to talk about how others have done it, and then we're going to give actual examples. And so, for me, I'm a simple guy, and walking away with tangible examples on how to walk forward is very important. Steve is, we're very lucky to have him here. It's actually his first time speaking publicly. So go easy on him. But I was introduced to Steve a few months ago, and the person, and I don't know if this is true or not, but the person that introduced us said that it has been attributed to you, the phrase mission-related investing, and so Steve has been at this a while. Steve opens his bio by saying his vocation is a grandfather. Leaving options open for all children. Steve was the former president of the Jesse Smith Noyes Foundation. He is really, I had dinner with him last night. He's worked at the UN. He has worked at, yeah, I know. Right. I mean, the breadth of his career has really been remarkable. He has his pulse on what is going on. I asked him how many boards he was on last night, and he, of the 5 boards he's on, he said he really only considers it one board because it's all for the same thing, which is furthering the implementation of this type of investing and getting people over the hump of thinking of it as a different type of investing.